Well, hey, folks. Welcome to Wednesday night. Happy Wednesday. And this is just the pre show, so don't get too excited quite yet. Just making sure we're set up, and I believe we are. I did it all ahead of time. So we got 3 minutes to kill. How about that? How's everybody tonight? How's your day been going? What's shaking? What's cooking? How's it hanging? Hey, Steph Cuervo Queen. Good to see you. Kat, good to see you as well. And Anita Palmer, good to see you. And she says, Anita Palmer says, hi, everyone, hand pink waving. That's what it says. It doesn't translate well for some reason, some of those emoji things. Hey, Michael, I just saw about a minute ago that you called me. And sorry, I wasn't anywhere near my phone for a while. So you must have called when the phone was down here and I was upstairs. Roy Pelvido, good to see you, brother. Glad to have you in here this evening. So another about a minute and a half, and we go live on the radio station. Subspace Odyssey Radio. So I hope you're all doing well. So check a couple of other things here to make sure we're good. Boom, 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 boom. Don't need that. Don't need that. Don't need that. Just closing down a couple of things so I'm not draining so much energy while we're getting ready to roll here. 1 minute and counting till we go live on the radio. That expertise doesn't rely on what we know, but rather on what we desire to know. How about that? And that and that and that. Got to check one more thing before we go live. Oops. I don't know what I just did there. What was that? What did I open up? I don't know. It's all the pre-show, so I'm not too worried. Another 15 seconds, and we go live. So we're going to go dark right now, and we'll be back in just a few moments. So everybody sit tight.
The Intrepid radio program with Scotty Roberts. Intelligent talk.
And happy Wednesday, everyone. Welcome to the program. I'm your host, Scotty Roberts, and this here's my show, the Intrepid radio program. And I hope you're all doing well tonight. Had a good day today. This program can be heard in its audio format only over on the radio station. That is Subspace Radio. You can go to subspace.radio and you can go to odysseyradio.com to hear the radio version of this show. And also, if you're not here already, you can go over to my YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/Scotty Roberts. If you're sitting over on Facebook or watching us from outside, that's the place to go. And that is also the place where we have the finest chat room. Roy, I saw that you're over on Facebook. There's a little F by your name. If you want to join the chat room and see all the chats that are going on, the best place to go do that during this show is the YouTube channel, because you won't see everything over there on Facebook. And let's see. Scotty, did you move your desk? Asks Kat. No, I didn't. I just, here, look at this. Watch. I usually have this up. And I didn't feel like it. Rainey said it looked too cluttered today. That looks too cluttered. You need to take some of that down. So I took it down. And it was down when I started, so now it's down again. We'll just leave it that way. How about that? For tonight anyway. And we'll see how that goes. As you know, I'm going to be working on, I have been working on going to a new platform other than Facebook and YouTube. Will still be there, but we're going to go over to Patreon. And that's what I was working on today was header and the look of things and all of that. May get rid of that background for the new Patreon version of the show. Well, we'll test it. We'll see what's going to go on. Maybe we'll hang some black velvet. I tried some of those fake backgrounds, but your head disappears if you move and stuff like here. Watch this. Let's see if I can do this in here. Let me settings. Watch what this does. This has nothing to do with our show, but let's see. Virtual backgrounds. All right. Let's try this one. Look, watch. I can blur things. Boom. There's the blur. Can you see that? So that's how that looks. You can blur the background, but look at all around my head and if I move around too much, you can still see things through it. That's why I don't like the virtual backgrounds, or you need a better program. That's what did that say? Aisha. Oh, that's soiree. I see Aisha. Scotty is going to love trying to say Aisha. LOL. Is that how you say it? Or is it Aisha? Aisha. I think I got it right. Hey, Sarah Yusuf and Field Guy and everybody else that's over here in the chat room. And let's see. I'll show you a couple of other of these. And this is why I don't like these so much. Some programs you can do. Here, look, I could do brick wall. But look at that. I'm half disappeared. That's what those things do. I think it's not the best program for virtual. Look, there's my living room. Yes, we've rearranged, Kat. We took the desk out and put the mini grand in. Where is it? It's over there. The mini grand. I had this one that I tried a long time ago, but never used it. So there's that. It says for best performance, we recommend using a green screen. So I could hang a green screen back there. And then I put this one up today when I was trying things. I kind of like that. However, I need a green screen to block things better so I can do something like that. That was kind of fun. So that's why that's why my original banner and everything is down. So those of you watching who find this fascinating radio conversation, there it is. That's as fascinating as I'm going to get with that topic. So it keeps cutting your left arm off for some reason. Maybe it's not supposed to be there. Oh, that's my left arm. That's my right arm. So it's my right. I don't know which one you're seeing. I see a mirror reflection when I look into my monitor. So it's my right arm. Does that look like my right arm when you're viewing it? Or does that? So it's no green screen, Cat. That's why it does that. There it is, Field Guy. Yep. I got to put up a green screen and maybe we can try some cool backgrounds. So we'll see what happens with that. And tonight we could do one of these because I don't feel like just segueing right into the topic quite yet. The affirmators. That's the bunny rabbit on the unicorn jumping over the rainbow. 50 affirmation cards to help you help yourself without the self-helpiness. Let's see what our card says today, huh? This is an affirmator card for you. It's not like the tarot. It doesn't really read your fortune. Although I think the tarot, anything like that, it's all what you put into it. If I wanted to use these cards in a more mystical sense, if you will, I think I could. I could do a reading. And we use these cards to read with. You shuffle them up and cut the deck. And let's say this is a card for me for today. No, for us as a radio crew here. Let's see, all of us listening. Oh, look what we drew on this affirmator card. The love card. The love card. It says, love is a many-splendored thing. Today, I will notice and appreciate at least 3 of those splendors. Like the fact that puppies make me feel like a parent. Not me. or the surge of self-congratulation I feel when I sink a 3-point trash basket shot on the first try. Or how about the chills I get while singing along to, and they left it blank so you could fill in your own song at the bottom. Well, there's your affirmatory today. So try looking at things through love eyes. I don't know. It doesn't, that one didn't resonate with me as much. But the love topic certainly resonated with the things we're going to be talking about tonight. And it's kind of a continuation of what we started on Monday and talking about reigniting the spark, or how do you make the spark stay alive, that kind of a thing. And so I wanted us to look at that tonight and continue what we started talking about on Monday. And tonight we will have a captain's cabin tonight. So tonight I am here all night. So that's good. So if you haven't been to the captain's cabin in a while, tonight's the night to give it a try. So I can't tell what little emoji Michelle Canham Free put into her post there. I can't make it out. Is that oh, it's a puppy dog. Well, there you go. So tonight, let's get back to this idea, this whole topic of your love and sex, and as you get a little older, or as you get deeper into a relationship. My daughter has her 4-year anniversary today. They're pretty young on in their relationship. What do you do when you're in 10 years, 15 years, 20 years? How is your sex life? I could ask you. Is it something that you can write home about, which you would never do anyway? Is it something that is amazing? Is it something that you ho hum about it? Is it something that needs work? There's the big question that I'm posing you tonight: is how is it, and how do you get back to that that early relationship sex, that intimacy, that attraction? And I think that's something that I think factors into this as well, is that it isn't always about sex, or hey, having good porn sex, things like that. It's not always about that. Sometimes it's about affection and intimacy. Has the intimacy flown out of your relationship? And intimacy can mean sexuality. That's a polite way to talk about sex. Well, we were intimate last night, or whenever. So intimacy is a good way to start talking about the sex category of your relationship. But the question is, how is the intimacy in your life? Because it can cover other areas as well. How is the affection area in your life? Has life become, with your mate, with your partner, has it become something that life has become rote? These are the thing, ROTE. These are the things that you do by nature, by habit, and all of a sudden you find that maybe the affection isn't there anymore. Maybe the intimate moments aren't there anymore. The intimate contacts, intimacy, like I said, doesn't always have to be sexual. It could be something that is just simply sitting on the sofa together, watching a movie, cuddled up together. Guys, we don't like to use the word cuddle. We don't cuddle. What do? The closeness of factor. How is your closeness factor with your other person? Field Guy says, I have a weird rule over in the chat room, which I break sometimes, which is I never add anyone I haven't met. But I think I broke that rule 22 times already. Adding them where? On your radio shows, or your podcasts, or your Facebook, or your social media, whatever. So there you go. Hopefully you're all meeting people here. Sarah Youssef says couples do grow and relationships deepen in width and breadth. Yes, they do. And so Anne Marie Aber has only a cat. So you can have affection for a cat, you can get intimate with a cat, but not in the same way you would with a partner, a human partner, a sexual partner, somebody like that, somebody that you're married to. Or with for a very long time. I'm not going to put all the caveats in there. You know what I'm talking about. So this is what we started covering the other night. Are you missing the early relationship sex, if you will? Early love's this whirlwind of desire, of optimism. It's got playful connection. It's part magic and part chemistry, I think, when you first meet somebody. But before we build up a tolerance to each other's presence, being near a new lover releases a flood of aphrodisiacal hormones. There's those things that we put out. It's the newness. But when the spontaneous arousal and the desire all start to fade a little bit because you're used to the other person, or that person pisses me off, that person does this and has a mode of life I don't like, but I'm with them and I'm committed to them and I love them and I want to be there. But you lose the affection. You lose the admiration. Do you have admiration for your partner? Or is your partner somebody that can never quite live up to your standard? Your standard. Well, my standard is this, and they never meet my expectations. Are your expectations so high of your partner that they can't ever meet them? And so you're constantly critical of them. You criticize everything they do. The criticism, the negativity, and all of that comes out much before the words of love or adoration or affection or intimacy. Do you find yourself, they say familiarity breeds contempt. And I think sometimes we get so familiar with the other person and we turn off the mode of the things that made the spontaneous happen, which is what we talked about the other night. We turn that off and suddenly we've lost that affection for that other person. And you know what that starts? That is the great breeding ground for the ending of relationships. It's a great breeding ground for the breaking off of relationship. It's great breeding ground for affairs and seeking other things outside the marriage, whether it be sex or friendship or closeness or whatever it might be. That person of the other sex that you met this person, they invited me for coffee, we have coffee, and I love talking to that person more than I love talking to my husband or more than I love talking to my wife because we have mutual interests. But wasn't that the same atmosphere you had when you first met the person who is your current partner? Didn't you have common interests? Weren't you excited about each other? Didn't you find ways to make yourself exciting to the other person? Which is actually one of the things about spontaneity that we mentioned on Monday night, is that spontaneity isn't really spontaneous at all. Even when we thought sex and affection and attraction, intimacy of a sexual nature, all those things, those were all things that we thought, oh, if only I could go back to the early days when that was so easy because it was spontaneous. Well, spontaneity, remember, is something that you create. It takes time to create the atmosphere for spontaneity. We use the example of going on a date. You ask that person out on a date and you get all dressed up the way you want to look and you shower. You make sure you, wax your legs or wax your nether regions if you're a woman. Some guys do that. You make sure everything is just so because you want to prep yourself for spontaneity. And if that spontaneous moment happens, it's because you put a lot of prep work into it. And you don't usually show up to a date with somebody that you're trying to get to know, stinky, wearing sweats, unless you're going to go work out together or something. You know what I mean? You know where I'm going with that. So, what those things that we do for spontaneity is what actually creates the spontaneity. But so we end up building this tolerance after a while because we become familiar with each other's habits, each other's modes of life, the way we do things, each other's jobs, their interactions with people that they know, and we try to join those and merge those as much as possible. But when the spontaneous arousal and desire fade, it doesn't mean your love is doomed. It means it's time to choose ongoing sexual connection rather than waiting to be swept away by the hormonally driven passion that you enjoyed early on. It's time to choose it. Now, maybe there are some of you out there, some of you may be my age, some of you, things don't work as well. Or maybe you look at yourself in the mirror and you go, I do not feel like I look desirable at all. I certainly ain't taking my clothes off in front of even your partner who loves you because you're so self-conscious about your own body. Maybe there are things that have happened along the way. You have health issues. You have whatever it might be. Your body is flabbier than it used to be when you were 20 years old or 28 even, or 35 or 40 or 45 or even 50, the youthful age of 50. Maybe things just don't look the same, and you don't feel like, we don't need to be sexual anymore. We don't need that anymore. We're not. And that begs the question, is sex just a thing for procreation, or is sex a thing for recreation and perhaps the display of affection and intimacy? Now, I may have mentioned this the other night because I don't remember. My days are starting to meld together, doing so many all-nighters. But I don't remember where I mentioned this, but I saw a little video that my wife sent me about couples. And it was just, we sent stuff to each other all the time. And there was this one where this woman was talking about, guys and she had a male guest on that was supporting her cause. And I may have mentioned this. I vaguely remember saying this, that I only watched about a third of it. I didn't see the whole thing, and I didn't have time to watch it at the moment when I pulled it up. And the woman on there was talking about, guys, they come home from work and or whatever they've been doing, and they sit down, they want to have dinner, and they sit and watch TV, veg out, rest, and then they want to get frisky. And she said, meanwhile, he doesn't realize the kind of day you've had, watching the kids, doing, and she listed a whole bunch of things that are kind of homemaker types of things. Although she didn't come across as somebody that I would have labeled as a homemaker. But she's talking about all the tasks that women have. And the guy chimed in. He says, yeah. He says, a lot of guys, they come home and they just want their wives to be porn stars after their day, and treat them like a porn star would. And wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, and so on. We did mention that the other night. I remember saying that, and Kat reacted to that. Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. And so I really disagreed with that video because I thought there was a different perspective to be had. Sometimes, guys like sex. Did you know, ladies and gentlemen, that the male mind, the male physiology, sex is something that makes a man feel whole. His wife loves him, wants to have sex with him. Part of that is the way the male biologically is put together. And sometimes the appreciation is, my wife likes to have sex with me. And it makes you feel good about yourself. It makes you feel proud. It makes you feel like my wife loves me. And that's the way guys are kind of put together. But guys aren't always just looking for the porn star in the bedroom type of thing with their wives. Guys, this is where I would disagree with that video, at least what I saw of it up to that one point, is that I think there are some guys that are like that. Some guys that are lazy, good for nothings. No, 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 no. Backtrack. Let me backpedal on that. That came off the top of my tongue without even thinking about it. Not lazy, good for nothings, but they do their work day. They don't realize how much work their wife has done, but they come home and yeah, they want to get it on, but they don't know the list of things that her day has been. And sometimes she's absolutely worn out. I know with my wife, so there are days now we're here, both of us are here together all the time. But I also know how the kids wear down mom. If the kids need something, they don't come screaming to dad. They always go screaming to mom. And many times I can hear from all the way upstairs, go ask your dad. Because she's tired of dealing with it. And so my wife, she gets tired out. She gets worn down by the things she has to do. All the activities that she thought were really fun things to do and still get some enjoyment out of them. These are things like the scouting and all of that. She loves doing that, but it's exhausting. She did the scouting for the sake of our kids. I remember the first scout meeting we went to was the week before I had the heart attack that pushed me into heart surgery back 6 years ago. So the kids have been in scouts here for 6 years. And there's all these activities, these camps. Rainey is a leader. She's a scout den leader, not a den leader, a troop leader for the girls that have joined the scouts. And so she not only has a meeting for that, she's got a meeting for the den, she's got a meeting for the troop in general, she's got parent meetings, and they're not all the time, but they seem to be punctuated at those perfect times when I'm thinking, hey, we should go do something, or we should have sex or something. Oh, can't, got a meeting tonight. And I'm like, seriously? And so I've never looked at my wife and thought, I'm so much more busy than she is. We're both equally busy. We've got our stuff to do. But how do you survive that in that intimacy category, sexual category? How do you survive that? What happens when the spark starts getting a little watered down because your life is so busy and you got so much going on? And I'm not talking about too busy. I'm talking about the daily routines of life. And we've gotten used to people. We've gotten used to not creating those atmospheres for spontaneity anymore. And we can't go back in time. We can't relive the old glory days of new love, which wouldn't that be amazing if you could? You ever look at your partner and go, oh man, I wish we could go back to those first few days we knew each other or were really hanging out serious like. And, but we can make choices. We can recreate, even though we can't go back in time, we can recreate those key features of that whole era. Because while it's true that you were gifted with bursts of feel-good hormones early on, it's not true that that's all it took to create the robust sex life you had. That intimate, fun, enjoyable, having a great time at it type of factor. And we made all kinds of choices to make sure that we set the stage for sexual connection. It just comes so naturally to do so in the beginning that we don't even notice we're actively making those choices. And over time, we stop choosing courtship style behaviors because we've sunk into not being in courtship anymore, not trying to set the stage for the other person to really like us or to really want us, to really desire us. So many people fall into the complacency of being in a relationship that they forget what it took to make that relationship real and fiery and exciting and fun. And then we wonder why the flame goes out. Make time for love or lose it, said Michelle Canham Free over in the chat room. I would agree with you. Make time for love or lose it. I talk to a lot of people, and I know a lot of people who say, he just doesn't seem interested in me anymore. And the woman that said that to me, by the way, vivaciously gorgeous woman. I'm thinking, why doesn't he have room for her anymore? She says he doesn't seem to have time. She says he could go months with nothing. I hear more of that from guys. Guys are always joking about after they've been married for a while. Sex, what's that? They'll say. And they'll say, well, what's gone wrong? Is it something physical? Is it something emotional? Is it something mental? Is it the fact that it takes two parties in a relationship to make that, Michelle just said, make time for love or lose it? You got time for everything else except your spouse? Have you got time for all your busyness, all your hobbies, all your events, all the necessary things in life that you've etched out the time for the person that you said you loved and wanted to be with forever? Do we get so busy that we forget how to love each other? Where does that spark go? Where does that flame go? Why is it gone? Chuck Thurston said, and I've heard of this organization, years ago, my wife and I went through Marriage Encounter, kind of a boot camp for married people. We learned to communicate better. Chuck, would you say, and I'm not putting you on the spot, I'm saying, are the things you learned at a conference like that, have those stuck with you? Are they things that you find you want to do? I know my wife and I have to constantly remind ourselves, because we constantly forget this, when Rainey and I went to counseling several years back now. And when we were talking about something in front of the counselors, he was getting to know who we are. Sorry, I got something going off. It's an alarm here, and I got to dismiss it. Hang on. Sorry, folks, that's going to keep going off until I shut it off. Oh, you know what it is? All of those of you in the know. Bump, 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 bump. It just said. See, I'm trying to get to it. What's it trying to tell me? Let's find out. I got to scan my little... Boom, there it is. Wow, look at that. There's my blood sugar right now. That's why the alarm was going off. My blood sugar is very low. So if I seem a little disjointed, it might be because of that. And I just ate some carbs, which create sugar. So go figure. Anyway, so you've got, at least I got the alarm to go off. So you got to, Chuck said, you got to remind yourselves to talk about feelings. Our counselor that we had, he's listening. He says, so what brought you in here today? What do you think I can do to help you? And we're both kind of, who's going to go first? I said something, Rainey said something, and then it turned into almost a mini argument right there. Well, no, you got that all wrong. And that's not what my thinking was, or, whatever the issue might be. And he said one thing that has stuck with me, and I think has stuck with my wife over the years. He says, he's okay, that's enough. I kind of get where you're at. He says, you're not that different than a lot of people, believe it or not. And he says, I'm going to ask you a question. He said, you're both kind of striving to be right about whatever your issue is with the other person. And he said, let me ask you. He says, do you want to be right, or do you want to be married? And he says, it really kind of comes down to that. You want to be right, or do you want to be married? And we both said, well, we kind of want to be married. And do you want to be right, or do you want to, wait, it wasn't married, he said. That was the outcome of that phrase. It was, do you want to be right, or do you want to be, I'm spacing on the word he used. You want to be right, or do you want to win? Is the whole idea is, do you want to win the argument, or do you want to work together to make life better? It's kind of it was a more pithy phrase than that. So that's the question you have to ask with everything that you start facing in a married life together. Do I want to be right, or do I want to be married? Because sometimes if you just push to be right, you might end up ending that marriage, because you know what? The other person doesn't want to hear it anymore. They don't want to hear how right you are all the time. And that's a totally different facet of what I'm talking about tonight. But these are the kinds of things that happen in relationships that make people lose that spark. It throws a bucket of cold water on top of the flame that's going. Leslie Holker says, sometimes you just want to matter. and that's it. You want to matter. Do you ever look at your spouse and say, I didn't marry you X number of years ago so I could be your roommate later on? I don't want to be your roommate. I want to be your intimate. I want to be the person that you have affection for. I want to be the person that you desire. And see, I've always kind of looked at it this way, is that there are things that I could be doing wrong that my wife has every right to point out. There are things that she might be doing wrong that I have every right to point out. But we come together on those things. We don't accuse each other. We don't criticize each other. We constructively criticize each other. Because when you do that, you're creating room for growth. And sometimes when I get criticized by my lovely Rainey, I go, look, I don't need to be criticized. And I'll tell her it's a variation of the, I don't do orders. I do requests, but I don't do orders. Do not order me around like I'm your child. And I don't like that. And that's the way I react. For right or wrong as it is, that's my reaction. She has the same kind of reaction. If she doesn't like something I say, she just checks out and walks out of the room. I'm like, I'm talking here. And if I want to finish answering the question or making a point, I would follow her to the other room. And then I'm like, I'm not going to follow you around. Either be engaged in the conversation or don't. So we have those kinds of things that have gone on with us since not day one, but probably day 3, of our marriage. Those kinds of things. Leslie said in the chat room, she says, just this morning, I felt pretty damn irrelevant as my husband busied himself for turkey hunting in Wisconsin. And we all know these things are coming. Leslie, you knew he was going turkey hunting. You knew he was going to be busy getting himself put together. And that's going to be a day where he maybe doesn't have as much time to pay attention to you. Or things that you do that he would say, she's not even paying attention to me today. There's things Rainey and I do all the time. There's times where she's running somewhere with the kids, and I mean, not frantic running out there, but our kids do have a way to make every time we go somewhere a frantic exercise in trying to be there on time, or at least not as late as we could be. And I'll be standing because she's taking them somewhere, and I'm not part of it. I got other things to do. I'm like, well, bye, everybody. And I'm standing there, I got my hands in my pocket. Little girl comes and hugs me. The older girl kind of, bye, Dad. And, my son will be like, see you, Dad. Comes over and gives me a hug. And then Rainey walks by me and she goes, come on, everybody in the car. Let's go. And she walks right by me. And I go, hello. I said, don't I get a hug from my wife too? I don't have time. I got to get going. I go, there's always time for a hug. And so those kinds of things happen. I'm a different kind of person than she is, personality wise. Do you actively engage in thinking about the other person and what their needs are? Do you actively engage in creating? I don't care. I don't give a good goddamn how busy you are or how much any of us has going on. And I'm talking to you as well as myself. I don't care how much busy you have. I don't care what's going on. If you love that other person, there is always time for affection. There is always time to be intimate, whether it's big intimacy or little intimacy. And affection is something you show. You walk by and you go, give me a kiss, I'm going. Quick. Rainey's more task-oriented on that kind of stuff, and she lets the tasks override her sometimes. I have to be aware of that. But there are times you go, hey, hello, I'm over here. I'm in the room. My wife never needs to do that for me because I'm always all over her. That could be a problem, maybe. Sometimes she's all over me, but those are rarer than the times I'm all over her because it's the way we are. We're male and female, and we're different people. Uncle Dave over in the chat room says, I've seen it all there. The frustration and joy, but I also see the love in that house, even through the pain. Oh, you talking about us? I thought you were talking about your own experiences, Dave. I've been there. I've seen it all. And here in this house, yeah, There's a lot of frustration, but there's a lot of joy. I call it the hellacious roller coaster of loving befuddled joy. And Field Guy says God plays cruel and yet funny tricks sometimes. Yeah, you know what that is? You know what that is? The kind of tricks, the funny, cruel tricks God plays is that once you've had kids and once you're down several years in your relationship and your wife goes, I wonder if I'm going through the change, if it's starting. And you're like, no, it can't be. I'm 20 years older than you. How can you be going through that? I still haven't gone through the change. And so, except my hair's turned white and is falling out and things like that. So there's the Uncle Dave hit on it a little bit. Maybe all of us recognize that. What do you do to keep that stuff from overriding your relationship? And the only reason I ask that question, the only reason it gets written about so much, talked about so much, pontificated about so much, is because it's a common problem. Now, you might look out and go, well, that doesn't happen in my relationship. Then you are unique and you are the standout. I know that there are people who've been married for a long, long time. People my age that have been married, 40 years. And they're still in love with each other. You could say, well, that partner, they might love you, but they're out of love with it. They're not in love with you. Well, what does it take to be in love? Is that an act of that person, or is it an act of mine to create the atmosphere where they're going to want to be in love with me? That's my phone thing again. So I think I just died. Hold on, let me check. Or I went into some kind of diabetic coma. No, I'm good. I got to check it one more time because it's giving me that stupid alarm. I think. Hello? No, it's not working. Let me try that one more time. Sorry, folks, to do this on air. That's what that thing is. So, a semi-permanent attachment. There we go. Yeah, I'm up a point. How about that? So, I'm drinking my sugar-free Mountain Dew. That helps my blood sugar go up, doesn't it? So, anyway, the minutia. I'm getting into the minutia of all of that when I'm trying to make a point. And so let's get back to our point. Is are you missing this early relationship sex? Because it still takes preparation and anticipation. You've got to build those things in your partner. The first thing you got to know is that the cultural narrative that sensual connection was spontaneous is the lie, as we covered last time, and just recap now. That's the lie, because it takes an awful lot of effort to create and careful planning to create spontaneity. So I would ask you the first question is, if you think that your sex life, your intimate life is not working well, do you do things to build an atmosphere for spontaneity? Do you still do the things that you used to do when you were first trying to win each other's affections? Do you still do those? Guys especially, I say, because guys have the conquering mentality when it comes to relationship. We work out and we build our muscles up, and we want to, we've got to show off. We've got to attract the women to show that we're good male hunters, and we can go out and kill animals for food and things like that. And we can build stuff, and we got to show all the manly things off. That we are, maybe on an evolutionary scale, it says the woman is attracted to a man because he can do the things that provide for his family and protect his family. So, but have you noticed how many guys, me included, after X number of years of marriage, they get a little flabby. They don't work out as much anymore. They eat more. because their wife's cooking for them sometimes. That sounds so old fashioned, but there are a lot of wives that still like cooking for their families and their man. And sometimes the man does all the cooking. Sometimes the woman. We'll get all those weird things out of the way. I'm talking for the most part, I'm looking at male and female roles from a traditional point of view. Not you got to wear a dress and an apron and a pearl necklace like Mrs. Cleaver in order to cook a pork roast. It's not what I'm talking about. So, do you choose to flirt with the other person? That's part of what brought on spontaneity. I flirt with my wife all the fucking time. Constant. So much so that's like, okay, so she was not giving away any secrets here. She's standing in the bathroom earlier today, naked. And she had a bra on, but she's waxing. She's doing things so she doesn't want to shave her legs. She's waxing and standing there with her back to the door and her leg up on the toilet and her leg at a weird cocked angle because her ankle, because she's putting the wax on. I'm going, stupidly, what you doing? I'm waxing. I go, oh. And I came over and I said, need some help with that? No, she said bluntly. But I flirted anyway. And I said, boy, you sure have a nice butt. And her response when I say stuff like that, she goes, uh-huh. Because she's used to my flirting. You just want some. I go, yeah, damn straight I do. I said, but I still find your butt very attractive, even if I didn't want any right now. So, and I, of course, got turned down, but I also didn't make the offer. I've learned there are certain times where you don't go, hey, you're in the middle of waxing. Would you like to have sex right now? It doesn't work that way. And seek rejection if you're doing that. But do you choose to flirt? I only bring that story up in today's example because I flirt all the time with my wife. Sometimes my wife flirts with me. She didn't need to flirt as much. I don't know what the difference is there. It's personality differences or something. She flirts. When we get on the radio, you've seen my wife flirt. She's a flirt when she wants to be. When she's got her mind on something else, flirting's the farthest thing from it. So what is my job? There it is. Sarah Yusuf says, need to change tactics. What is my job? I need to look at my tactics. I have to see what it is I need to do to create an atmosphere for her to. Does it mean I come walking into the bedroom and where she is and I'm naked except for my cowboy boots and my cowboy hat? And I go, how you doing, little missy? Hey, little filly. Does that make my wife excited? I go, are you horny now? And she go, oh yeah. She says, yeah, bring it. That doesn't always work. So you got to find creative ways. Be imaginative, be creative. Be like you were when you were younger, when the love was first new and you were so attracted. Deb Treadway says, yeah, I love the compliments from the hubby too. Well, good. You should. We go out of our way to make them. And, guys are guys. We like to have sex, probably more than women do. Well, I don't know about that. I'm talking in generalities. At a certain stage in marriage, when you've been together for a while, we still think about it. Guys still want it. We still want to do the porn sex type of thing. Wives aren't always into that anymore. Sometimes they do. How do you get them interested in that? These are the things you have to do. You have to create an atmosphere for flirting, for spontaneity, for using your head, your big head, using your head to think about, what does my wife need? What does she need from me? Sometimes I will clean the house and I'll do the things. I do that all the time anyway. But I will do things, and in the back of my head is, I'm making deposits in the love bank. Are you depositing in the love bank between you and your wife or you and your husband? What are the things you have to do? And why is it guys are always told to do this and women not so much? It's like, do women have a handle on that? No, sometimes women need to make deposits in the love bank too. Or the guy's going to go, what's the deal? How come you hugged all the kids goodnight, but you not hug me goodnight? Well, you're my husband. You're in the bed with me. You get to sleep with me. It's a rainy. I said that to her once. How come I didn't get a hug tonight? Well, you're sleeping with me, aren't you? Well, there's the difference. Okay, I get it. And then she'll hug me. So you got to seek novelty. You got to make things work better. Seek the new, and the novelty wakes up the senses. It boosts the dopamine, does all those things. And these changes that you can make are contextual. They're accessible. And any change creates a novelty. Just make sure it's the right change. And it's something your wife is going to find a new place to eat, find a new restaurant, a new hangout, do things, make things happen. For my wife, it might be taking her fishing. She might really enjoy that. And we talked about differentiation last night. We'll leave that go. I'm not going to get into that again. But there's 5 ways to keep sex alive as you've been together for a long time. Early love has its own biology, and it drives attachment, it drives chemistry, but it isn't meant to last forever. Guys, me, Scotty, it isn't meant to last forever. When early erotic connection becomes less automatic, it doesn't mean the end of the relationship. You have to be empowered with the right information, because you can choose to keep your sexual partnership alive for the long haul. And it is a choice, believe me. There are things that you can actively be doing. 1, early love has its own biology. And at the beginning, we're often consumed by love. It's glorious. We bask in it. Even guys, we go, yeah, I don't show my feelings all that much, but we're like, hey, my woman loves me. And I love my woman. We're flooded with positive feelings. We're graced with creating the spontaneity and the spontaneous desire. The other person can do no wrong. There's nothing they do wrong. There's no problem. I remember when I first told Rainey, I'm not supposed to be able to have kids. Now, I have 3 already, I said, as you can tell. I'm a sole custodial dad of 3. But the twins came at the same time. We thought it was a miracle. 9 years later, and my ex-wife and I, believe you me, we were sexually prolific. But it took 9 years, and then Sam came along when we were already separating for divorce. So Sam was born into that. So I said to my wife, I said, look, you're 20 years younger than me. You don't have any kids. You've never been married before. I said, you sure you want this? I said, number one, the likelihood that I can produce more children is slim. And what was her answer? Oh, I don't care. I just want you. I just want you. And okay. Well, we ended up getting married, and guess what? We had 3 kids, bing, bang, boom, in the first 4 years we were together. Of the 18 we've been together. So that happens. So you can do no wrong. Even that was not a factor to deter my wife from wanting to marry me. It's no accident, evolutionarily speaking. The honeymoon phase of a relationship is a biological phenomenon meant to entice us into procreation, to further the species. Early attraction has similar neurological profiles to being on cocaine. Do you know that? The neurological profile of being in early love and attraction is similar to what you find in somebody who's high on cocaine. Our brains release all these chemicals, and all of this deactivates that part of our brain that, when not high on love, would step in with logical, analytical, critical thinking. So thoughts like, I don't know, the way they keep showing up of late, talking over me, ghosting me for a few days, etc., feels kind of disrespectful and might drive me crazy over time. It's going to have to wait. We close out our friends because we're all focused on that other person. And all the physical and emotional closeness with our new partner lends to the production of oxytocin, otherwise known as the bonding hormone. It's the gorilla glue of hormones. And this neurochemical keeps the love connection rolling in the right direction. It promotes attachment. It promotes affection. All of this neurochemically driven connection fuels fun and exciting early sexual chemistry. But the honeymoon, number 2, doesn't last. That phase, you get out of that phase pretty quick. And I'm looking at the clock because we've only got a few minutes left on the radio side of things. The additive state of early love is temporary, folks. The addictive state, I mean. And it's just like our neurochemical response to any addictive substance. It changes over time. And so does our neurochemical response to the new love. The chemistry is gone. The old Barry Manilow song, I've been up, down, trying to find the feeling again. Things like that. Yeah, I listened to Barry Manilow when I was in high school. It was cool back then. After ongoing exposure to each other, a couple can actually build up a tolerance to the other person's presence. And we no longer get the rush of hormones we enjoyed in the early days. Oh, I would go walking into the room. My wife would be, hey, get in this bed. Take me now for the love of God. Now I can walk in the room and it's like, hey, you're blocking the TV. That we grow a tolerance for the other person. It's just a natural thing. That's a natural thing, not an intentional thing. But this doesn't mean that your feelings for the partner has changed or that your relationship is doomed. It just means that you've entered a new phase of your relationship. You be the we're used to each other phase. Number 3, we understand the order of events. Thanks to physiology of early love, in a new sexual relationship, we often experience spontaneous desire followed by arousal, which leads us to choose to engage in sexual behaviors with our new love. Excellent, Smithers. Now, that's the order of events: desire, arousal, sexual behavior. And as spontaneous arousal becomes harder to come by, no pun intended, guess what happens? When it's harder to come by, we have to work harder to make it happen. Radio audience, we got to get out of here. I'm going to go over. We'll continue this in the chat room. Everybody over on the radio, live long and prosper.
Join us every weeknight at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, 10 p.m. Eastern. The Intrepid Radio Program, a Scotty Roberts Productions broadcast.
Now, let me just pop my face in here before we start the captain's cabin. You all know Wendy Robertson. We do Robertson every Tuesday afternoon at 4 p.m. Central, 5 p.m. Eastern. Well, she does Wicked Women now on Sundays, her own show, and she's got Valerie Rasnick with her and Rainey when Rainey is free to be able to join them. And that show's coming up this Sunday, and she's not going to start pumping it until tomorrow, but she asked me if I would show you a quick preview of their show for this Sunday. Here it is. Hey, welcome back to the Captain's Cabin, folks. Good to have you here. This is the after show. We'll go as long as it takes. No. The other way around. That doesn't mean we'll go 4 hours if we need to. It means we'll go a little bit and then we'll call it when it's time. This is meant to be just a little after show. When we first started, it's ended up being an hour to sometimes 2 hours when we do it. So, what is Dave? Uncle Dave said, so I had to run off and take care of some family business. Are we having a captain's cabin tonight or not? Well, yes, we are, Uncle Dave. And here we are. We're in it. You are in the captain's cabin. And look, I got Michael is out in the wings here. He goes by 3 names here now. He's Michael. He's Viking Off-Roader. And he's also Shazam, Dr. Sex Kitten.
Somebody asked me the other day, they said, what is the oak with the Dr. Sex? I said,
He did not name himself that, folks, by the way, in case you're wondering.
No.
Somebody else gave him that name.
Hey, you wear it with pride. You don't never demote yourself. No, everybody, you talking about relationships. I always ask myself, what would Kurt do? What would
Captain Kirk do?
That's it. You know, they always said, what would Jesus do? I said, well, I don't know. Build your house. He was a carpenter.
I don't know, but I know what Captain Kirk would do.
Oh, yeah. That's what I told him. I said, it always amazed me. No matter what planet he landed on.
Yep.
What color the woman, green, purple, yellow, red, whatever.
Yeah,
they spoke perfect English, and Kurt knew how to get down.
That's right. And they rarely ever even had an accent. Did you notice that?
No. They spoke from proper.
Yeah.
The King's English. Yeah. The King's English. Oh, speaking of the King's English, I saw the video that you just played.
Yes.
And it was late for her. She said, Scotty is going to play the video. And I told her, I said, I hope you don't play that one. She said, why not? I said, because the times are wrong.
She changed that. She sent me a second one.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Right
saying.
time.
Yeah. And she said, "What do you mean the time's wrong?" She said, basically you better be fucking with me. I said, "Long Dong Silver. Hey,
It's a
Hi,
good name,
he's
right?
come to the captain's cabin. All right.
Arr.
hey, you find that over on another channel that has you in it, but
I got to tell you, the only woman, not the only one I found attractive in that preview of Wendy's, but one that has always been a favorite of mine, Catherine Zeta-Jones.
oh yeah. What was the other lady called? Because we was talking about the lady that's married like 18 times.
Oh,
Elizabeth Taylor, or whatever her name
oh,
was.
Elizabeth Taylor.
The
I
one that
got
got
a shot of Rainey that I took is very Elizabeth Taylor looking. I'll share that with you all.
Oh,
And
she had that.
it was on a webcam. She was up at her mom's with the kids. This was like, God, Ellery was a baby. So it's 7 years ago. And I took a shot of her. She's in a black tank top, and the lighting was pretty good. And she ended up looking, I call it my Elizabeth Taylor shot of Rainey. I'll find it. I'll put it up.
But even Daisy from Daisy Duke, what was it? Catherine?
Daisy from Daisy Duke.
Catherine Bach.
Yeah, Catherine Bach.
Catherine Bach.
She brought in a whole line of like different, talking about keeping the spark alive. Old Daisy give all these women something to shoot for back in the day.
Yeah.
And, but now that was controversial. That shows how society has changed.
It has changed.
It has went from short shorts, and now that is appropriate, but you can't have a certain flag on top of a car. Now how the controversy has changed from the Daisy Dukes to, that's bad. But no,
what did I miss? I'm not looking at the screen. Did Field Guy do something?
Long Dong Silver. But anywho,
I didn't do anything.
Oh, there you are. You didn't do nothing.
Yeah, all the gray will come in. You just give it time, or I think
that's right.
Your friend request. It was somebody that I didn't know. It's got like a cartoon on your profile picture.
Right.
Okay. If
That's
not, I was
Big
going to
Mac.
say
That's not Big Mac. That's Little Mac from Mike Tyson's Punch Out.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
People swear that looks just like me without my beard.
Hey! I just bought a new straight razor today. I went in there and I was going to try with it because my grandfather always shaved this one of them, talking about looking sharp. And I was like, nope. And then take more practice. But I was going to say, if you need a good trim there, we can take care of you. We got you.
Yeah. You should go to the men cave. Do a man cave visit and have them trim that thing up so it looks manly instead of grizzly.
Yeah.
They did trim it.
Grizzly.
Looks better.
Oh, it is trimmed. Sorry.
It was down here earlier.
All right. Hey, you come by here. I got a set of clippers. We will straighten you right out.
Oh, I got those sitting right over there.
He said he got them. He just don't know how to use them.
Yeah, indeed.
But no, like you said, keeping the spark alive. And I have, I've been single for a long time. Then when I got interested in somebody, I heard, you don't dress like that all the time. I was like, dress like what? The dog don't mind.
The dog don't mind.
Dog don't mind a bit. And it's like, oh, do you even own a button-up shirt? Well, yes.
What?
And she asked me if I owned, but yeah, I was like, huh? And that's the reason I always tease these people about owning a tie. I see how you come in on Tuesdays. I'm thinking, I don't know if he's going to tell me I'm drinking the wrong wine or what, but I'm like, holy hell. And that's like we know we're talking about different types of wine, which this damn thing, I keep moving. My butt's round on the bottom. I can't get comfortable. I got to get me a better seat. Get my office set up.
Yeah.
But I told somebody one time, I said, you dress up to go out on date night. I said, you look like the damn butler. But they was all like, I'm like, no, but no, it is, but I get it. Back in the day, men used to dress better. They would actually dress a little better. And it was,
I saw a great meme once. It showed a meme graphic. It showed a black and white photo of a guy that was around 20 years old, wearing a nice suit. It was a light gray suit with the skinny tie, and it was back, and he was standing by a car, and it was obviously a real picture from like the early 1950s. And it said, the way men went out on the town in the late 40s, early 50s. And he was sharp. The suit was sharp. The car was cool. He had his hair slicked back. And then it showed next to it a bunch of guys, with their pants down around their knees and their shirts pulled all the way down there and walking around in shitty looking clothes. And goes, this is how men go out now in 2017 or whenever that meme came out.
I used years later, and it was like of my dad, and they went to a poor country ass school, but the boys was expected to wear ties and button up shirts. You could not wear a t-shirt to school. You wore a button up shirt and a short tie every day. There's so many shop teachers that got choked to death in a woodworking day or something because they say, you're a teacher, you have to wear a tie. Then they got smart and decided, hey, clip-ons might be acceptable.
Put a clip-on tie on.
Oh, yeah.
Nice hair there.
There you go. You're working on it. Elvis said, what? What the?
Yeah. What's left of it.
What was that stuff they used to make that it was in the can that you could rattle the can and you could paint it on with eyebrows?
Brill cream?
No,
Brill
like
cream? No, that was in a tube.
No, this was like in a spray can. It was like
hairspray?
I can't think of it, but
it was only in infomercials. It was the guy that bumped his head and died from an aneurysm. It used to sell. It was like the guy with the tape that hold underwater is all that. Oh, are you going thin on top? Let's spray paint your hair on back on. It's like look.
Oh, the spray can of replaceable hair.
Mm-hmm.
What a ripoff that would have been.
Well, now they got this. Now they got this commercial thing. I forget what it's called, and it's like this shake thing, and it looks like rice or something. And they go, "Oh, we're gonna take it out the can." And they do this. It's like salt and pepper, and it goes. It blends in with your regular hair. People go, I'm amazed.
I think it looks that way on film. I couldn't imagine you could not tell the difference up close. Go, what's all the little speckly, pellety things in your hair?
I heard something funny. I had a woman tell me, this is years ago when it first came out. She said, she took a guy home and he had like painted his hair back on. She said, woke up the next morning and his head print was in the pillow.
Oh, no.
I was like,
yeah. That would be the thing, I guess there are certain things I do that are affectatious. I shave. What do I do? I put lotion on my hands. I put some on my face because hopefully to keep it from sagging all the time. I got this, which I never had before. I got that now. Yeah. So I put lotion on that. And you think, is it going to tighten back up ever? Or is that the way it is now for the rest of my life?
Hey, I'll tell you what they do have. And I didn't know these worked. I had bags under my eyes one morning. That's what bad, just from work. And
like these?
Oh, yeah. And but I'll tell you what, they make
not that bad.
No. Whoa, Jesus Christ.
Oh.
But say cross.
Hey, Amanda.
Yeah, cross on a bike.
Go ahead.
But it's a stone roller. It's like rose stone, and you put it in the freezer, and it's got this roller, and you roll it on, and it just like for some reason it takes them away. I'm like, wow, okay.
Yeah,
I was like, I'm not vain. I've never been vain.
For my eyes, or the bags under my eyes, huh?
And you just roll them, and it just.
We're
gonna get you married off yet, Phil guy. You know what I'm saying? You take notes. How old are you?
All you need is one thing to get rid of bags under your eyes. Preparation H.
That'll do it.
So, yeah. Then you go.
Shrinks. They did that
in your eye.
They did that for Conan O'Brien when he had his TV show. His assistant, he had bags under his eyes, and his assistant was putting his cream under his eyes, and he didn't know what it was, and then it went away. And one day he was like, "What are you putting under my eyes to get rid of the bags?" And she goes, "Preparation H." And he made a joke. He goes, ass cream for your face.
Ass cream for your face. Now, I bought some stuff, a little shaker tube, and it has a little silver roller ball on the top, so it rolls on for under my eyes. And it was supposed to be a thing for guys to take away the bags under your eyes. I used that thing for a month straight, and I didn't notice any difference. I thought, I just wasted $28.
Said rock rollers. Okay.
Rock rollers. Yeah, they're fun. Does that mean they are or they aren't, Amanda? And by the way, Amanda, you did stumble into a good show. You missed the first part. We were talking about sex and stuff like that.
That 3-letter word.
Sex, that 3-letter word in a very not clinical way, hopefully fun enough way, but talking about how do you keep the spark going when you've been in a relationship for a long time, and things that we look at. So I'm just filling you in, and anybody else can join us just here in the captain's cabin.
Hey, if she loses the spark, get the taser.
Ken Ballos, called getting old.
But Ken's held up pretty good for a man 102 years old.
Yeah, for 102, you're looking pretty good.
Yeah. I don't call it old, I call it vintage.
Vintage, yeah. I have patina. Yeah, that's what it is. It's patina.
Patina? That's what it is. I'm not getting old and wrinkly. I'm just patinaed. So.
It's not. Oh, and there's elderberry.
Elderberry is in the room.
Yeah.
Uncle Dave says, when I worked for John Robert Powers modeling agency, because Dave was once a male model. He was an underwear model. Did you know that? Uncle Dave Potter, underwear. But since that's what we told all the girls to use under their eyes when they walked the runway.
Oh, speaking of underwear, I seen the mailman drop off a package in the mailbox today, and I was talking to Wendy, and she said, because I just had got up, she said, you can't go to, I said, but there's a package in my mailbox. So I'm an underwear model. Every morning I go out and check my mail.
There it is.
Hey, I figure if they don't want to look, they can look the other way.
There's a package in my mailbox too.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, hey,
there's underwear in your mailbox.
Hey, nice. You can order that from Japan.
You can.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You don't know if it won't dissolve the first time you get a sheen of sweat on your skin, but there it is.
All you got to do in Japan, everything's in the vending machine. If you want panties, vending machine.
Yeah.
Vending machine panties.
Yeah.
Japan, China. Everything is in a vending machine.
Well, how about that?
Yeah. Sake in a bowl.
Except cigarettes. You can't get those in a vending machine anymore.
Watch it, KB sexy.
Probably in there.
Oh, Valerie's going. Hey, the one that's close enough to come thrash on me is actually said, "Watch it, KB sexy as hell."
There you go. Well, I've always said that.
Yeah,
sexy as hell.
Yeah, I don't.
Yes, they have vending machine underwear, says Steph.
We used to have.
Hey, Barbie D. If I didn't say hi earlier.
We used to have a drugstore down here called K&B. It went out of business about 25 years ago. It was a big purple sign.
It's probably KB. He probably sold panties in a jar, not in a vending machine.
Excellent, says Amanda down in Australia. Excellent. More men need to mate. Undie run.
Undie? Wait, I'll put a pair of underwear
is that
on my head
more
now.
Men need to, mate? Or are you saying more men need to mate? So they can make undie runs for their woman?
Yeah.
I see. Honey, I'm out of undies. Will you go down to the vending machine for me, please?
I don't need any. Not allowed any. It's part of the new package plan.
Yeah, new dress code.
Yes.
Slip it under Sleepy's laws. He won't notice. Just put a bunch of crap in there and he'll sign it.
There it is.
Yes, vending machines. There are things available even in my local shop. Flip-flops machines are everywhere. Scotty sometimes. I was reading that too. There too many comments popping up. It's hard for me to keep up with this.
A lot of comments.
Hi, Sarah. Sorry we messed up.
Yeah. A man running an elliptical in a suit. Yeah, Scotty the other day is talking about men's common thing now are shorts, flip-flops, and t-shirts. I'm thinking, how does they know what I'm wearing? I'm like,
what? That's strange. New?
Yeah. It's like,
my son's here.
I can't even get a damn tank full of propane around
here. He is. Come on over here, Flynn. Here's my boy, almost 14-year-old boy. How's it going?
Hey, take the keys. Go for a drive.
What's shaking?
Yeah, you can get a spouse.
You almost done.
It's Flynn of Flynn Plays.
That's him. That's his YouTube. Flynn Plays.
I've been on there a couple of times.
He's got some pretty cool videos on there.
Yeah, I don't understand a lot of these games nowadays, but
What do you got going on?
You need an Oculus, Bill Guy. You need an Oculus. Play some online poker.
Yeah, I'll probably lose.
But go ahead.
I just finished a radio show
in your room
and hopped to Karen. Okay.
None of you heard that? There was a little parenting going on there. Positive affirmation. So
you can do it.
Anything profound you want to tell everybody? What's on your mind, buddy? Oh no. I love his smile. He's so stoic all the time, my boy. But when you smile, you light up the room. Right?
Remember, do the thinker.
You know how Rainey gets him smiling? She'll just look at him and she'll go, boobies. He loses it. He's like, don't, Mom. And, or something like
word.
That. You know. So.
That's it.
I'll be up in a little bit.
Yep.
I'll probably step outside for a smoky treat when I'm done here.
Yeah.
All right. There's good live radio right there, folks.
Hey, if anybody asks, I wasn't smoking today.
Yeah, me either.
I don't see anything.
Is it?
I don't see nothing.
I
was going to tell you. Here, popped in here finally into my stream. This is my Elizabeth Taylor shot of Rainey. I took it on a webcam because she was at her mom's on her laptop. I was here on my laptop, and this was years ago. Well, not so many. Ellery was 1 year old, so it's 7 years.
It's a dollop. Okay, so it took you 9 hours.
Here we go. That's what I call my Elizabeth Taylor shot of Rainey. I wish I didn't have that shadow on her face, but the sun was so bright. That's just a shadow of like the top of the window shining in on it.
To the window, to the wall. Yeah.
So I look at that, and back when I took it 6-7 years ago, I said, that, Rainey, looks like Elizabeth Taylor to me. And she had a couple of other ones, and she looked like old movie star type of thing, the same setting. And I just said, she was just talking to me on the webcam, and I said, hold that, don't move. And I took the picture. Did you want to see? You're bored? You can be the peanut gallery tonight. Or you can come over like Sam does, and we can do a show. You can join me on the show. Pull up a chair. Here, my desk chair. I'm in Mom's desk chair. Hold on. Her desk chair was back here. Why was your wife's desk chair behind your desk, you may all be asking. And I will say, that's for me to know and you to find out. How's that for originality?
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's Mom 7 years ago. Picture never gets old. I love looking at that picture. So, anyway.
All right.
There. Flynn, you're with us now. Say hey to everybody.
Dean Martin.
Hey.
Dean Martin. Oh.
What about
who? Oh, no. I need a suit like I was trying to think who he is. He does Cannonball Run. He hung out with
Burt Reynolds?
Sammy Davis Jr.
Oh, Sammy Davis Jr. Oh, yeah, Jr.
Dean Martin. Was it Dean Martin?
Yep.
Yeah, I always wanted a suit like that because I'm tall and slender. I figured if I could get the guy who did Dean Martin suits, I'd probably not mind dressing like that. You know what?
I like that kind of look. That look of the 60s is back. You know, that skinny suit look with the long dropping V in the front and straight pants and all that.
As long as they don't bring back corduroys pants or whatever. Yeah. When you run.
The worst decade for suits was the 80s.
Pinstripe.
Well, the 70s to the 80s. With the 70s, the big lapels that came out to here, and the big old knots with the big old ties. And that was the worst era for men's suits. Mandy over in Australia. Oops, I hit the wrong one. Where'd it go? It scrolled up. Amanda in Australia says, "Good day, young robots," in her Australian accent, I'm sure.
That means, hey, how you doing?
Women in the 80s wore those freaking
Amanda, you should just call in
so
you can talk to us with your Australian accent. Say hello to Flynn in Australian.
In the native tongue.
In the native accent, anyway.
Yeah, no way. Miami Vice suits were amazing.
Oh, Miami Vice. That came out when I was early in college.
That wasn't really a suit. That was more of a sports jacket, and
It was like a suit coat. Well, they could wear a suit, but it was like a white suit, that was open. They had the collar flipped up on the suit and the sleeves of the suit coat pushed up, and a T-shirt, like a tropical pastel color, like coral or something.
Like Valerie?
It's like, what color is this? Oh, it's coral.
Yeah. Coral.
So, Aisha Sui. Don Johnson, yeah. Does everybody remembers Don Johnson? What was the guy who played his partner? The Cuban.
Philip Michael Thomas.
Philip Michael Thomas. You hear much about him lately?
I think he does Broadway or something.
Hey, I can Google it. What was his name?
Philip Michael Thomas.
Philip Michael Thomas?
Hey, Google, what is Philip Michael Thomas doing nowadays?
On the website philipmichaelthomas.info, they say CEO of Spaceship Records, Inc.
Oh, CEO of Spaceship Records. Yeah, you have to Google him.
Let's see. Miami Vice. I got to show my son. This was the show, son, in the 70s or it was the early 80s. 84 to 89.
It only was on the air 5 years.
Played. Yeah. It was not Night Rider by no means.
Now, Tubbs, he always wore a suit. Don Johnson wore the suit with the open and the up collar and the T-shirt and stuff like that. His partner Tubbs always wore a suit, but it was that 80s style of. This is when the 80s started getting out of the 70s. This was kind of the new look, the new style, and these guys were cops in this show, so it was a pretty cool show. I'm looking for.
He wasn't a TJ Hooker by no means.
What's that? I
said he wasn't TJ Hooker by no means.
No, T.J. Hooker, William Shatner. That was
look
at the suits they wore back then.
You think they would have to have someone called T.J. Hooker? You think the lead would have been a woman? That would have made logical sense.
Well,
why would you name it and give it to Shatner?
I don't know.
That's just like crazy.
He was replaced by Miss Cleo.
These were cell phones back then, by the way, son.
Oh.
See that? It's just a block with an antenna on it, my son says. Remember the early cell phones? You see a picture here from Miami Vice. He's holding up a cell phone or a mobile phone as they were in the early 80s, early to mid 80s.
Brick.
You were those big blocks,
yeah.
That were kind of cut out like this, and those big blocks like that with an antenna on it. Hello, I'm mobile.
What was it? He did Harley Davidson, the Marlboro Man. It was I liked him in that, but a whole lot better than Miami Vice.
Don Johnson did Marlboro Man.
Yeah, Harley Davidson, the Marlboro Man. It had him.
I never saw that.
You need to watch that.
I liked him in the other cop show he did. It was in Florida, and it was more recent years, within the last 10, I suppose. Cheech and Chong. Who was it? Tommy Chong? No. It was Cheech Marin.
Cheech Marin.
Who played his partner in that.
Oh, Nash Bridges.
Nash Bridges.
I used to watch
the way
that.
he dressed in that, too. He made a big fashion statement with that show, too.
Yeah.
But I liked the way he dressed in that. He always had the different colored vest on, very cool, with the open collar and the suit, and good colors. So
that was a good show. I watched it when it came out.
We're talking about fashion. All of us are here in t-shirts. Nobody ain't wearing no bare bottoms.
What about bare bottoms?
Asking pardon. What did you say?
Bare bottoms, B-A-R-E or B-E-A-R?
Bell bottoms.
Oh, bell bottoms.
Yeah.
I said bare bottoms.
Hey! I got bare butt hammock.
Probably was Barbara.
Yeah.
Pardon me, but do you have any gray poupon?
You'd be constantly asking, pardon? What did you just say? I missed what that was about. Pardon me? What did you say?
What?
Now we're getting posh.
If you can understand a Southern accent, you can understand any accent.
I can't. There's only a few times it catches me off guard.
But the dialect or the accent from the Mid-Atlantic states, when you slow it down, is very close to proper English.
Are you talking about like Virginia to Carolinas?
Yeah, Upper South Carolina, North Carolina, Tennessee, Virginia, and parts of Pennsylvania, all up to the Appalachian, the Mid-Atlantic states, because that's where all the concentration was when everybody immigrated here.
If you listen really close, you can kind of hear the similarities.
And a lot of the older words, like if you get down in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, and over in the mountains of North Carolina, where then people was isolated so long, they still use a lot of the old English words that never come out of their dialect.
Sure.
That's
like, pretty cool.
Yeah, they're like, hey,
anthropologically speaking.
Yeah, it's like, oh, we're gonna go to town and trade at at the market or whatever. It's like you put your groceries in a poke and not in a bag. Oh, she died of cancer.
There was I told this story before, but there was a guy. I don't know if I ever told you this. I was working in Virginia, and I was there. I hadn't been there very long, and everybody went to lunch except me. And some guy came in from the air conditioning company to fix our air conditioner. And he has the Virginia accent, only had a really deep Virginia accent. And he was like, oh, I'm here to come down and talking about that, and I want to go downstairs and fix air conditioner because of Bill. And I said, blink, 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 blink. I said, I'm sorry, what? I said, I'm from the north. I didn't catch a word you said. And I said, you'll have to go ask the guys down in the shop. So,
South, what would you remember NASCAR? They had Ward Burton, and they had his brother. What was it? Those two brothers, and this one had that real thick South Boston deal, and they asked him, said, "What's wrong with your brother?" Said, "Y'all don't sound nothing alike." And Wood would always talk like, I'm Wood Button, Caterpillars. And he asked his brother one time, said, "What's wrong with your brother?" He said, "Well, he's from the southern part of South Boston, from the house."
Southern Boston.
Yeah, southern Boston. And
nice.
South Boston, Virginia. And I'm like,
yeah, Boston's got an accent. I've never been able to do a Bostonian accent. It's just it's weird. It's so close to Maine. It's like Maine accents. The state of Maine.
And what gets me is when you start getting in the like,
it's a wicked day in the harbor.
Yeah. in Hayti, Missouri, once hauling a oil-filled pipe, I could not understand the word in that place. Oh, where'd you get the northern, like?
Excuse me, it's not you guys, it's me.
Yeah, North Dakota and all them places up to there. It was just when they sent me to Devil's Lake, I was like, Jesus Christ, did we overshoot land in Canada, eh?
Yeah.
I'm like, holy shit. They said, oh, we're only 25 minutes north, eh? I'm like,
we've got, if you go out west of us in Minnesota, just still within the state of Minnesota, but go out west, all the old farmers out there, they've got that kind of Fargo accent,
Yeah.
And so they kind of talk like that. And, you talk to some of the farmers up there and they'll talk about how, well, it looks like it's going to be a bad winter this year, because the corn only grown so high, it's only up to like my kneecap. And when it does that, it's like, whoo, man, I got to tell you, don't you know, that is going to make for a bad winter coming. And that's how they talk out in the, we're from out past Litchfield, And so that's your Fargo, Moorhead.
Yeah. When I came home, I hadn't made fun of them so much that it stuck. I had to break myself from that. Don't you know?
Don't you know?
Because I we thought it was funny. I was
because of Nebraska. Us German Russians can't make the TH sound.
Oh, is that it? Don't you know? So don't you know?
I'm from the University of Southern North Dakota. That's where I went to school.
We got some crazy accents.
We don't pronounce our THs.
The Southern and West Coast surfer accent. So hilarious. Lowe's has got a Snapper Pro on now, and the commentators sound awesome Hawaiian. I always thought, like the Austrian accents and stuff. It is because, and it's weird. You have the UK, which is that it originates in. Then you have the Americans, which America is such a big continent. You have a northeastern accent. You have a mid-Atlantic, and you have a southern accent.
Northeastern makes you feel like you need to be going fishing out in the.
Yeah,
you know,
they got to go out on the boat.
Snapper Pro, commentator. Oh, Hawaiian. It was always like, you know, I remember growing up on the Big Island. Back when I was a little boy, we used to climb into the top of the highest mango tree.
But no, but it's just weird, or not really weird. It's just it fascinates me how, Wendy sounds a certain way, and she probably sounds a certain way, and it's like even in England, I watched that Hot Fuzz or whatever it was, and they had 3 guys in the car to interpret it between
Hot Fuzz, Shaun of the Dead. Why do I keep forgetting his name?
But it's really funny. They have 3 people in the car, and the one cop asks the guy a question, and then it goes through 3 interpreters. Then he comes back and tells him the answer. And he's over there beating on the big floating landmine with the. He's like, oh, and he's like, whoa, but no.
Nice.
Love Kelly Slater, gorgeous American.
Gotta love Kelly Slater, gorgeous American. I don't know who Kelly Slater is. I gotta admit. Who?
Just Surfer.
Oh, Surfer. Okay.
No.
Yeah. But no, it's
the Beach Boys song comes to mind.
Yeah.
I was with my Saints hat on. Hold on a sec. Got a piece to fans.
There you go. Now you look like you're from Louisiana.
Yeah.
Wait.
Oh, why don't you hang out with the Boudreaux?
Funny enough, you mentioned that. That's coming up soon.
Well, you're gonna give me some.
If all goes to plan, I will be sitting in a room with Grumpy Stack in a couple of days.
Oh, so, all right. So what's going on with you and Grumpy?
Grumpy a Boudreaux?
When I go to my aunt's house, he lives right around that area. So,
well, that's cool.
Okay. Hey,
yeah. Figured
it's 2023. Do what you want, right? 2023. Right. Do what you want. Yeah.
23rd century.
Yeah.
21st century.
Talk with our hands.
Yeah, 2023.
No, that's not what. But anyway.
Yeah.
No, when I was in Louisiana, I was at Fort Pope, and I was over there, and they had this alligator had hatched off for hatchlings, and I thought it'd be really cool to bring a baby alligator home, because I figured I'd be the only good old boy here in Virginia with his own alligator. So I go over there with me a little stick, and I'm beating the weeds. And one of the guys that worked on post was, he was very, very like Cajun or whatever. He's like, ding old alligator man over there in the chunk, goddamn arm gone, man. I'm like,
what?
What? He's like,
where did you grow up?
Man, arm's gone.
What country are you from, son?
I'm like, okay. I was like, slow down here. I got alligator chomp, arm gone. He's like, man, man, don't fucking no alligator no little bit thick, man. I was like, I want a baby alligator. He said, goddamn, man, you nuts, man. I can't tell y'all nothing. And he just stomped off, mad as hell.
Wow.
I'm thinking,
dude,
okay.
I did not understand you.
Yeah, I'm like, don't mess with the alligator. Need bigger stick. I was like, okay, bud, you got a bigger stick? He was mad. He's like, wow. I'm like, okay. Ding old alligator, man. I'm like, yes, that's what I'm looking at. I'm alligator hunting right now. I want a baby alligator. Yeah, but what I later found out, alligators are pretty paternal.
Yep.
Is Grumpy going to pick you up with some new tires when you meet up with him?
Sure, why not?
Sure, why not?
Buy Grumpy Stack tires. There we go.
It says, look like you and Clint are holding hands.
Oh, does it? So we're sitting like this? He's actually about a foot behind me.
Enjoy the sunshine.
Optical illusion.
From my angle, looks like you and holding hands. That's where you got that from. Almost. He's way back behind me though. Barbie D.
Oh no. Mandy's talking about alligator. Hell, they got the saltwater crocs, which are really, really very, very mean creatures.
Oh, they caught an alligator right down the road the other day.
Yeah. And that's what
they don't go too much in my section, but if you go 30, 40 miles out, they'll occasionally pop out the lake.
Hey, I need some alligator tail. I'll send you an address to you. You pack it on dry ice. I want to really mess with the people when I throw it on
alligator. Yeah,
you gotta go out that way.
I've never tried it.
You go out that way where Doug is. out there where Scotty was, Lake Charles, out in Cajun country, out that way. Yeah. They'll eat anything. You want some recipes? If I could get Boudreaux on here, he could show you.
That's like a lot of people, when they talk about Florida. I'm not going to Florida. Then people play golf with alligators, dinosaurs walking right through the greens. They just walk them with a golf club, send them the fuck on.
It happens here too.
What did she say? Massive prehistoric monsters need to be called down here far out. Hey, you know what? They got rid of the real Crocodile Dundee. That whole character was based on a real guy that had a shootout with the police down there because he lost his shit. Love a dog.
Oh, need to cull the herd down there, Amanda says.
Yep.
Love a dog getting off the lead.
Yep. Oh yeah.
So, folks, I'm going to wrap it up. It's 10:40. We don't have to go to 11, and I don't want to tonight.
No.
My son wants to hang out for a little bit, so I'm going to go spend some time with him.
Yep. Tell him he can come to the garage, and I'll give you a call here in a little bit. And we're going to talk.
That's what he's going to do. I'm going to bring him out to the garage because I need to go up and have a little smoky treat.
Drink a six
when I'm off of here. So, My Head by Grumpy Stack Tires. Very nice. Field Guy. Very nice. So I'm going to get out of here. Field Guy, thanks for stopping in, brother. I'll see you next time.
Bye.
All right.
Dr. Sex Kitten. You got my son laughing again.
Yeah. Hey, sometimes I'll be honest with you.
Barbie.
Tell them you don't pick your names, you know what I'm saying? That they just get give to you and you just go with it.
They just get give to you.
And you just, you know what? You smile and nod.
They just get
smile
give
and
to
nod. It don't matter what they call you, as long as they call you 3 times a day. She said, doctor. Hey, actually, I'm going to school for that right now, and I feel like I won't need a neurologist my damn self.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh. Yes, he was named that, Amanda. So he was given that moniker. So.
Hey, even when I went and got my eyes today, they asked me, they said, what kind of glasses do you want? I said, something that makes me look smart but still sexy. Can you do that?
It's smart and sexy?
And that girl said, she said, you only bring me so much to work with. Okay. I don't look that smart, and the days of sexy is gone.
I'm sorry, you were saying smart and sexy? I'm sorry, what was that? there it is, smart and sexy.
That's what I told her the other day.
I got so many reading glasses around here for drawing. When I get close enough. There you go. See whatever else is over there.
Yeah.
There should be another pair in there somewhere. Oh, what's that one? Oh, that's just like the other ones. This is my reading glasses for drawing. Boom. Those are almost the same as my prescription ones. Well, which are these? That's for seeing the computer.
Oh, yeah.
The other ones are for seeing something 6 inches from my face.
Yeah. You got to do the crossing marks. So when you do them, you got to have the sticker on. You got to go.
Boy, oh boy, says Manda down in Australia. See, we've tipped the scales here tonight, haven't we? So, that's your cigar?
Oh, yeah.
I have a librarian certification, says Kat, and glasses. Does that count? Hell yeah.
Yep.
You put them on, Kat, we'll go, hello, librarian.
Yep.
So.
That's it.
All right. We're going to get out of here now.
All right. Yeah, I was going to say, give me a shout when you get up there. I'll be here.
I'll talk to you in a little bit.
All
See you
right,
later. All right, everybody else. On behalf of my son, Flynn, and I, we hope you had a good time here tonight. Hope you enjoyed the show. Those of you who it was your first time here, this is what happens in the captain's cabin. It's just more casual. And so all of you, I want to thank you for being here. We will see you again Friday night. Now, it's going to be an abbreviated show Friday night. I'm just doing the show. And about 5 minutes in the captain's cabin, I'll have to get out of here. So that's the day after tomorrow. So all of you, live long and prosper.